it's Rita with Everything Homemade, and we are going to place some little lettuce plants into the main hydroponic system that I have set up. We are also going to look at the lettuce because it is ready to harvest. So let's check it out. Let's do a taste test first. I'm going to also go over a couple of things with the hydroponic stuff and basically do a complete update here. I just want to say thank you to Bloom Plus once again for this wonderful grow light up here. It is a BP 1000. They are sponsoring this series and they wanted me to try it out. It is fabulous, so go ahead. You will be satisfied if you would like a grow light. This is awesome. All the links are in the description box below. So take a look at the lettuce. This is my hand, you guys. Look at it. Isn't it gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. So this bowl here, we fertilized with the goose/duck manure, and this one here we fertilized just with a commercial store-bought fertilizer. And really, I'll just grab this one over here so Nova doesn't have to stretch. They are neck and neck. They are absolutely beautiful. Color is awesome right across the board. But what about taste? So let's taste this. So what I'm going to do is just break off. Now this is a loose leaf lettuce, so you don't want to just cut it straight. You just want to nip a little bit off. So this one here is off of that one. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, so again, beautiful size. Take a look at the size. Okay, absolutely gorgeous. So what I do notice right away, it's not bitter. I hate bitter lettuce. Nova, do you like, I think you really hate bitter lettuce too. Mm-hmm. I think everyone hates bitter lettuce. It's really, really good. Okay, let's try this one. Same thing. I wouldn't be able to notice a difference if you blindfolded me. They're both delicious. They both taste good, and they're both not bitter. So you can see how much growth has happened in 10 days since I filmed the last video. They just went wild. So if you only have the availability to buy fertilizer, you're going to get good results. If you have a farm and you want to make your own fertilizer, you'll get awesome results. So no matter what, you're going to do great. It's just to show that you can really use what you have and you'll get positive results. And obviously I got my proportion right with the manure because I didn't burn anything, and they both look wonderful. All right, let's go on to the hydroponics. So let's do an update first. I transferred this one here about 4 days ago, and this plant here was put in with the goose/duck manure tea. And take a look at this here. I hope you can see it. They're kind of minute, and I gotta find my root here. Do you see that root there? Nova, can you pull it out there?
Yeah.
So right there is the little root that's in the water. So now let's check on the plants. So let's start with this container here. And you can see how beautiful we have a few of the plants. And this one here is actually in the rabbit manure. And this is such a beautiful looking plant. Look at that. He's got the false leaves out, and he's got a little tiny true leaf coming. These ones here are a little bit behind him, but are still doing okay. They have definitely greened up. It's sort of hard to really see on the film, but I hope you guys see it clear enough. Then what I did was the one with the goose, manure. There's a plant right here and 2 others. And remember, this is only a few days since we done this. And it's doing phenomenal. Actually, I planted another one extra because I started one into a hydroponic separate container. because it just took off. And this one here is in goose manure liquid fertilizer, and it's doing phenomenal. The other thing is that I started a few lettuce plants in Jiffy pots to see how they would do. 2 are doing great. There's a little seed head here that's stuck, so I'm going to get that. But the roots haven't yet gotten all the way out, and you can see the little root right there at the end, that little speck, but they're not yet ready to go into a separate container. So we'll just continue to water them. The one container here, this one was just in a commercial starter. This one here is in the manure. Again, the plants are growing. Some are doing really good. There's one there that's struggling. This one here is in a starter again, and they're a little bit behind actually compared to all the rest. Don't know exactly why that is, but they are. The problem that I'm also seeing is that there's a little bit of algae growing, so I might have to switch gears a little, but this is just an experiment. I have never done hydroponics, and I'm trying what other people are doing on YouTube, but some things might not work so great with me, and it just might depend on the seed. So you guys are going to see the good, the bad, and how you can learn as you try new things. And that's really important. Okay, so I also set a few more here. This is just in manure. These are just some added plants, and I'm basically playing around with things. I'm also playing around how you situate them on the sponge, and there's some extra stuff here. But we do have one strong plant that we need to go into the system, and that's what I really want to do after, is get them growing big in here. And as their roots grow, I'm looking for roots that are at least an inch to an inch and a half long before I put them in, and there's one plant that is. So we are going to actually plant in this one here, because take a look at this. This is where the magic begins. Look at that beautiful root. No discoloration, beautiful white color, absolutely gorgeous root coming out through the sponge. Beautiful. The other ones that aren't too far behind, there's one right here, and there's one right here that will probably need to go. So let's just check on this dude here. And holy smokes, look at that. So we can definitely put that one in. Look at the root. Healthy plant. And that one was in manure. So we're getting results here across the board. The ones that are in the starter, there is no roots at the bottom. And like I said, they're just a little bit behind. The one that we got a goose manure one here, so let's check that out. Nothing at the bottom. Whoop! But probably close to planting. And then we have the one in the starter here. This one's a little further ahead. You got a little lettuce leaf, but there is no roots going through. So let's just open this up. Grace, if you can just open this up here, just hold that one side there. Let's take a look at the root. What I notice is that it's kind of hard maybe for you guys to see, but the root is a bit discolored. It's not as white and clean. That's interesting to note there. Let's take a look at this one because it's in the same kind of solution. So Grace, help me out. Let's open this up. And they aren't that big of roots, are they? They're not that big of roots. So is the solution too much? Maybe I should decrease on the nutrients a little bit on it. Maybe what the recommended level is too much, and that can also hurt the plant as well. So I'm going to really watch that because I need the roots to grow. So they're actually doing better in my manure and rabbit and goose than they are doing in the starter when you really look at the roots and the root color. Interesting note. These are in Jiffy pots, which is a peat mix, and I'm just waiting for the roots to get longer, and then I'll put them into the net cups. So interesting. What I'm thinking of doing is starting some Swiss chard some different variety of plants in here next, and just keep on trying different things with the sponges, and again always doing different kind of starters. The other thing is I had a subscriber ask about goat manure, so I set goat manure right here. There's one set, it's not quite ready, but it is set, and I will start experimenting and using goat manure as well. Okay, so now what we want to do is set this container here. I'm doing a passive hydroponic, so I figured I'll start that way and see what happens. So this is just a wide mouth mason jar, and these here are 3-inch net cups, and I found that the 3-inch net cups fit perfectly into the wide mouth mason jar. It was just made to fit. So that was really cool. So what I want to do is get my plant right in here, but I want my plant root to come out the bottom. That's the key here. So let's pick this nice long one. Which one was it? I think it was, yeah, this one here. So this one here, it was in the manure, and you can see the beautiful root coming out. So what I want to do is, these roots are delicate, so I want it right in the middle dangling, and I want to kind of weave it into one of these triangular holes. What I want is for this root to come out just like that. Now I don't want to move it all about, so what I want to do is get some of these clay pebbles. Now these clay pebbles will help to stabilize my sponge here. And Grace, who is 9, is trying really hard to get this all filmed. She's doing an excellent job. So I want to get these little clay pebbles basically to stabilize my sponge, so it doesn't, you know, move around and then rip its roots. It doesn't need much, it just needs some at the bottom there. And let's check on our root, and it is definitely right there, and it's looking good. So what I need to do next is fill this up, and this little plant was in the manure mix. I'm just gonna put this in the cup for the moment, just because I need hands free for a second. I'm gonna give my container, my mixture, a shake, and then I'm going to fill this up. Now the key to this is letting the root go into the mixture. Go into the mixture where the root is just touching, and you see how the container is into the water? That is too deep. So what I want to do is take some out, and I want my root back down dangling, and I want it just touching without my container touching. So you can see I have about a very little, it's probably about a ½ centimeter gap, and you see the root dangling. You got that, Grace?
Yes.
And that's what you want. You need a gap. Okay? You're doing awesome, Grace. This is hard work. And so this is perfect. This is what I'm looking at. The reason why we leave a gap is so the plant can create what is called air roots. And the air roots will go up, collecting the air, while the other roots will go down below. So that's what we need, is that nice little gap. So that's looking really good. So what we want to do now, you just want to put a couple more of these little clay balls. Light is going to be your enemy here, because if you got light, you higher percentage of getting algae growing, which you don't want. So I'll just fill in the gap there after. But the other critical thing you want to do is cover it with tin foil, and that's why I put the tin foil around there, is cover this up with tin foil, and that's what we need to do next. Okay, so what I want to do is just get a nice little piece of tin foil. Some some people I saw wrap these with a sock or something like that. So you can really just, you can even put this paper around it, whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to simply wrap this with a little bit of tin foil. And it just molds perfectly to my container here. I'm just going to bring it down a little bit, squish up the top. The nice thing that I can do is just pop this container right out of its sleeve to check on the root and see how things are going. And then I can just simply put it right back in, just like that. And then I can always reuse these, which is really, really nice. So that's what we're gonna do with this little guy right here and get him set up into the system. So now that I have this one here that's set in the goose manure, this one here we just did, and it's set in the compost manure, and this one here is set into rabbit manure. And I also got them labeled, so I have everything labeled for what manure I used in each one, because otherwise you just don't remember, right? And the label here is off to the side there. So those ones are ready, and as the roots grow, I'm going to continue to move the plants into the candy jars or into a container that my husband will drill a hole in, and we're just going to keep on experimenting. And hopefully we can figure out a really awesome technique by the time next year comes and the gardening season comes, because I want to grow some squash and stuff like that hydroponically outside. Okay, well, I am so ready to harvest this lettuce for supper. So let's do that. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just take a knife. You can use a scissor as well. And I'm going to just cut off the biggest leaves. This is such a awesome feeling to be harvesting my own lettuce from inside, because it is just beautiful. It's tender, and your first cut is always the most tender. You'll notice that when you have lettuce in the garden or you're growing lettuce, but these here taste so good. Alright, so I'm going to leave it as that. So you can see here how much I have taken off. So this one here, I'm going to just leave for tomorrow's salad. And this here should grow quite quickly, and what I'll do is actually, after a harvest, I'll give it a little boost. I will water again with the fertilizer, and this one here is the goose and duck manure, and just give it a little bit of go-go juice is what I call it, and it should come back within a few days, and we should get another harvest. So we are right on the money here with these two lettuce bowls. Once again, I would like to thank Bloom Plus for this opportunity to try out their grow lights and just seeing how my plants are growing. This is a wonderful grow light. So again, all the links are in the description box below, and I would like to thank all of you for watching and learning with me as I continue to experiment with hydroponics here. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.